Hey guys, my name is Tim and I'm the master mechanic at Zeiten BMW Mobile Services. Today in this video we have 2011 BMW 528i and we're gonna do the front motor mounts replacement. The first thing we're gonna do is raise the car up. For this particular video we're gonna be using the Ranger Quick Jack, and as you can see, like, it's all the way up. But if you don't have the Ranger Quick Jack, you definitely want to raise the car on all four corners, even though it's possible to do the oil pan gasket and the motor mounts just raising the front. It's better to raise the whole car, make sure it's secure, and proceed with the repairs. Now we're gonna remove the engine cover. It's 4 5mm Allen bolts. You can also use Torx 30, fits right in. Then we're gonna remove this bar. Those bolts are different sizes. One is 16mm right here, and it's a short bolt, and the other one is 15mm right here, and it's gonna be a long one. So we're gonna take those off. After that, I'm gonna remove the air filter box with the mass airflow sensor. If you can get close by, I'll show you how to do that. Mass airflow sensor, you can just simply put the pick tool right here, move it out of the way. That's it. And here's the clamp for the air filter box, attaches to the intake boot, and let's get to it. Now we're gonna take the splash shield off. Those are 8mm bolts all around the perimeter. Not all of them here, of course. Some of them are missing. This one is for the engine. This part right here is where you jack the whole front up. So this is it, if you're just doing the front raise. And after that, we're gonna remove the other shield that's covering the transmission for the future jobs. So let's just remove that for now. And now we're gonna remove those plastic covers on the sides. It's approximately 6 or 7 8mm bolts as well. Here, over there, this one right here, the last one I'm removing. It's right behind the stabilizer link, sway bar link. There you go. And the other three is one right here, over there on top, and right here. Now it's free, almost. Let's see. Oh, there is also one clip right here, and the other one is right here. So 2 clips in total. You can see it's moving freely. There's also, yep, 1 and 2. And the one more clip is right here, is deep inside. So I need to remove that. And there you go. Now it's all free and we can finally remove it. go around all the components. Take your time. Now we're gonna remove one bolt from the motor mount. It's right here. I don't know if you can see. It's right there, facing towards the engine. We are on the passenger side right now, and it's a E14 bolt. So just I'm gonna take it off, and then we're gonna do the same on the other side, but for that we'll need to remove those 10mm nuts that holding transmission lines in place, so we can move them a little bit, and take this the same bolt out of there. And after that we're gonna put the engine hoist and drop the subframe. There you go. So this is the upper motor mount bolt. Once again, E14 socket. That's what takes it off. I'm gonna take those 10mm out, and this will allow us to move the transmission lines a little bit so we can access the motor mount upper bolt. Okay, now you can see the transmission lines are movable, and I was able to put the E14 socket on the wrench right there. Now we're gonna take it off. It's a little tough, but not that tough. After a couple twists, you can just take it out with your hands. That's it. Both bolts out. Let's get on top. Now we're gonna have to remove all the plastic from both sides. It sits on those clips. We need to do that in order to put the engine hoist and to put it on the metal, to not break the plastic, which is already cracking down. So let's remove that and just go from there. Now the engine hoist is in place. Just make sure to see where we put it. It's right here. Basically, this is a stopping point. Same on the other side. And we don't need to lift it much. Just create some force. That's pretty much enough. And now we're gonna be able to just drop the subframe at 6 bolts as usual, and go from there. Okay, so we do have 6 bolts that are holding the subframe. We don't need to take basically anything else. It's one right here, same on the other side. The next bolt would be right here in the middle, 18mm, and the other one is right there. So exactly the same on the other side. We're gonna remove those two 8mm, so it's gonna flex a little bit more, and that's it. Just gonna loosen them first with the big breaker bar, and then we'll put the jack right here and take them all off and lower the subframe. Jack is in place. Now we're gonna completely take the bolts off. front bolt is shorter than the other two. The other two is the same size. The last part of subframe removal is to remove those two 13mm bolts that connect to the front reinforcement bar, and in order to do that we need to remove this air duct for the brakes. So what you're gonna do is there's two 8mm bolts right there, and then you're gonna push it forward just like that. And I also removed one Torx 30 bolt from this the second part of the air duct, and there is a second one right there, Torx 30, but I don't need to remove that. I just moved it, and it allowed me to remove this 13mm long bolt, and this one is shorter bolt. The bottom one is the shorter one. And now we're ready to lower the subframe. There you go. Okay, so the motor mounts are almost out, so I'm just gonna lift the engine a little bit more, and now we have just enough room to take those 13mm bolts out. They're all different length, and replace the motor mounts. The motor mount is held by three 13mm bolts. They are different length. One right here in this hole, this is the axis, the other one right there, and that's the third one. That's the longest one, so we'll start with that. As you can see, that's a hell of a lot long bolt right there. Second one. The third one, and yep, two the same size, and the other one is the very long one. So now you can see right here the motor mount moves freely. We might need to lift the engine a little bit more, or lower the subframe a little bit more, or move it from side to side. It's a possibility. In order to remove the motor mount, I'm just gonna take this bracket off. That's where transmission lines hold on. It's Torx 25, so we'll just take it out and take the motor mount out this way from the bottom. So the bracket out. The other side motor mount is straightforward to take out. There's nothing weird here, and it's real easy, just like that. A lot of room, real simple. So as you can see, those motor mounts are for each side, left and right. This is the driver's side, and you can see the damage right here. This is how the old motor mount looks like. This is the fluid that came out of it, and here's the new one. Look at that. That's the difference. It's a lot of difference. And the other motor mount, the passenger side, may look exactly the same, but those pointing things right here, you see, like, take one at a time, and just replace one at a time so you don't mess it up. I put the motor mount back in place the same way I took it off. It's not hard, you just need to bend the transmission lines a little bit. They're flexible, it's alright. And now I'm just gonna put on those bolts in here. Make sure everything aligned, and the thread on top is facing the engine because it's obviously important. So we got a new motor mount. We have plenty of room. So we got a new motor mount. We have plenty of room. There we go. It should sit exactly right. There is only one position it can go on. And now we're gonna put the bolts on. So again, it's 2 bolts like this, and one is super long. As you can see, both the same size and hollow threads. So the long one goes right here. Got it on. This one. And that's it. I'm just gonna make them tighter. Okay, and now we're ready to put the subframe back in place. Now's the time to put the subframe back in place. So we'll put the jack right here and slowly lift it up. There you go. And now we just need to slowly go in there. Goes forward. Remember, it should go into the bracket. And also pay attention to your motor mounts. This one goes in just fine, but the other side is a little bit troublesome. Let me check from top. So we have this side of the subframe is stuck a little bit on this frame. So what I'm gonna do is to put the screwdriver right in the hole where it's supposed to the bolts go, and just move it like that. Now I can see it's free and we can continue lifting it up. It doesn't go all the way. Let me release it a little bit. You can use your screwdriver or maybe one of the extensions to guide it all the way while you're putting it back. Okay. Seems like almost all the way in. Let me check. good. The back is good. While the jack is supporting the subframe, we all good in all of the positions. Both motor mounts are in place. All the holes are aligned. Now we're gonna lower the engine completely. Now the engine is sitting entirely on the subframe, and this is the time. This is the time when we're gonna check again if everything aligned, and if it is, we'll just put it back together. So we'll start with the center ones. And I also will do the one in the front. Remember, it's the short one. Right here. On this side and the other side. After I put those in, we're gonna do the back ones. But it happens sometimes when in order to properly put the rear bolts of the subframe in, you need to jack it from those points right there so it's flush and everything's fine. But let's try and see. Yeah, it's a little bit misaligned, so I would say I will need to drop it a little bit and jack it from this point so it's completely flush with the frame of the car. So I tightened the front and the middle bolts, and this allowed me to put this one in without jacking this part, so it's all good. We're gonna do the same on the other side. Okay, so we got two final bolts. Like the longer one goes right here. As you can see, it's not fitting right now, and the bottom one goes right here, which fits just fine. In order to align those holes for the top bolt, you can either use your screwdriver inside the hole. You can also jack it up a little bit, but the best way is to basically put your hand right here and move this whole thing. You see, it's moving with the radiator and everything. So this is what I found would be the best solution. And as you can see, it's all in, and the bottom one too. Now we can make them tight. And that's it here. Just don't forget to put your E14 bolt for the motor mount. It's right here, and the same one on the other side. There you go, guys. This is how you replace the motor mounts on the 2011 BMW 528i. This is F10 model, the first year of production of the F10. And thank you guys for watching. See you next time.